Ci siamo già, le vetture sono tutte allineate, questa bellissima pit lane delle Formula Renault nella European Championship, vari Alpine, serie tra l'altro certificata FIA, per FIA tra 45 secondi per questa qualifica 2 gruppo B. In pista ci saranno Giusti, Fluxa, Reves, Andrea Pignattonelli, Open, Amanda, Avercourt, Bello, Menina, Tangarelli, Bora, Ramos, Fittipaldi e Maschio. Dopodiché, dopo questi 15 minuti, ci saranno gli altri 15 dedicati invece al gruppo A, e quindi intorno alle 9:05 dovremmo essere, diciamo, in bolla con le due qualifiche. Alle 9:25 il grande spettacolo delle TCR.
Well, good morning everybody, and a warm welcome back to Tuscany here. It's going to be race 2 this afternoon, but first of all, qualifying 2 is right ahead of us. And of course, the message still remaining the same. Of course, the racing family, of course, fans and teams, drivers, and everyone alike, obviously joining us this weekend in the memory of that of Delano Van Hoff. Of course, we're racing for Delano here in Mugello. Our racing family lost one of its most promising drivers, Delano Van Hoff. Of course, before we delve into this qualifying 2 session, we of course once again want to wish our deepest sympathy and thoughts to his family, friends and the MP Motorsport team, who once again aren't joining us here this weekend in Mugello, and we wish them all very well as well. But also the thoughts going towards that of Adam Fitzgerald, who recovers from his injuries, and we hope to see him back in an RPM motorsport car very, very soon as well. They, of course, still represented here by 2 drivers, once again, Maceo Capietto and that, of course, of Santiago Ramos. The car's now out and about. Of course, we've got the groups making their way out onto the circuit. A warm day once again this time at Mugello. Not quite as cool as it was yesterday in qualifying as the timer ticks downwards. We've got clear blue sky as well, not a cloud in sight. And the sun certainly is shining on a very poignant morning, a very poignant weekend as well. Coming off the back of yesterday, of course, in this very group, it would be Andrea Kimi Antonelli who went fastest in this particular group, but of course did not secure the pole position. That went, of course, to Martina Stenshorn in the Group A field. Let's go through the drivers, certainly, that make up Group B, who are heading out first this morning. Lawrence Van Hoopen, who represents here as well, Marcus Amma and Kaz Havercourt, Owen Tangavellu, Nikhil Bora, as well as Leventia Ravesh, Santiago Ramos, Giovanni Maschio, Michael Belov, Alessandro Giusti, as well as Lorenzo Fluscia, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, Lucas Medina, as well as Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. are representing here in the opening of this session. There's Ramos, who we're currently seeing in sight, being joined by Maschio in behind as well, who had a tricky day yesterday, but hasn't had the track time that many of the other cars have, of course. Had a little incident in practice, which unfortunately led to him losing out on some vital practice time over the course of the early stages of the weekend, and now comes back into it, but will have learned, I'd imagine, plenty off the back of yesterday's race and yesterday's qualifying as well. There's Andrea Kimi Antonelli, who's back again after managing to secure yet another podium. It was his 5th podium yesterday. Wasn't quite able to hunt down that of Martina Stenshorn. Of course, dirty air being a major factor here at Mugello at this circuit. Of course, allowing that of Stenshorn to career really rampantly away, 1.7 seconds towards the very end of the race. A consistent theme even after the safety car, but now it's all on Antonelli, who I'm sure will be boosted with the confidence knowing that it was in fact the opening group, yesterday of course being Group A, that would set the fastest time in quali, which is something very seldom seen in this session. So just a reminder, obviously, about how the format works. of course, this group will head out first. Of course, Group B went out second yesterday. It basically allows both groups to have equal fair chance at faster track. Certainly given the fact that track is preheated for the next group, obviously both groups will benefit from this in each individual session over the weekend. So qualifying one, of course, Group A went out first this time, Group B go out first, and then the group after will have that benefit of a heated track. Of course, it didn't necessarily need to help Stenshorn yesterday. Of course, he went out first and still managed to secure pole, as I alluded to. So obviously still, this grants a chance here to Antonelli. The track certainly is vastly different in terms of temperature this morning. Humidity now this time at 74%. Of course, it was only a mere 25 yesterday when we went racing. The air currently sat at 23.4 degrees. Track temperature currently sits at 23.1. Of course, that was greatly enhanced yesterday. So this is why you see the drivers perhaps a little bit more active in terms of getting the tyres up to temperature. As we now see Owen Tangavelu on screen as well, representing the Trident team. Had a little moment yesterday as well, of course, but looking to bounce straight back here in qualifying, the Frenchman. And Trident, very well armed this season, obviously with some very talented individuals, Tangavelu being one of them, not to mention Roman Belinsky, and that of Nikhil Bora as well. Coming into the weekend, just sat behind MP Motorsport in the championship on 25 points. Be looking to try and muster plenty more, you can imagine. Times are coming in, but naturally the opening times around a 1:56. We did see them dip into the 1:40s yesterday, so we can expect definitely faster lap times. And already you can see the split certainly cascading downwards already. Kaz Havercourt, who's at the top of the screen at the moment, already going 1.5 seconds faster in split 1, split 2 1.2 seconds faster as well, but naturally these will continue to cascade down as time goes on. Nikhil Bora, who we're currently seeing on screen as well, also representing the Trident team. They're going to be looking for a big weekend. They tend to do well at these kinds of tracks, and though I was speaking to Roman Belinsky, they said that they struggled on the pace side of things over the weekend, so they want to try and make a charge for the front, but they're very realistic in where they set their goals, and very tactful talents certainly behind the wheel. They know exactly what they're doing out there as the cars now make their way across the line. Nikhil Bora now setting a 1:53.286. But I hope you're all enjoying your morning. Certainly nice, bright and early for us all here in Mugello, as it is, I'm sure, for all of you around the world. My name is, of course, George Morgan. I'm your commentator this weekend here for the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. Car dipping into the gravel. Laurens van Hoopen, currently top of the screen. Losing a little bit of time, no doubt. You just see there a little bit of scaling on the tyres where he dipped it into the gravel. As you know, see him head through this next stride. Doesn't take long before it cleans up. There you can see the dust flicking up off the curbs as well as he rounds that next right-hander. Of course, a fantastic circuit here at Mugello, and plenty more to come, no less. Obviously, the Grand Prix circuit is where we race around. Broke ground back in 1973. It's Laurens van Hoopen. Very strong contender, has to be said. Competed in Freca back last season as well. Also was P3 in the Ultimate Cup Series with 7 wins to his name back in 2021. As the Dutchman makes his way through towards the next left-hander. And will continue to prosaically try and rise as well. Also raced in the Formula Regional Oceania Championship, claiming 2 poles with a win to his name and 5 podiums to boot, which certainly places him in good stead this year to obviously try and do great things as he now crosses the line as well. Where does this place him? A 1:45 already now. We're dipping into the 1:40s, but Marcus Amand instantly takes the top. Currently besmirched as well by Kaz Havercourt for Van Amersfoort, who goes straight to the front. He, of course, was contesting to try and get into the podium places. Havercourt now on top with a solid 1:44.287. There's now Santiago Ramos, who is a stellar qualifier as well, going to the top. I've got my eyes set on Andrea Kimi Antonelli as well, who is certainly going faster in the first 2 sectors, so keep your eyes peeled on the Prema as well. But Ramos will be delighted, certainly with that top time. There's Antonelli, home race for the Italian as well, certainly one of the standout figures in terms of the Junior Feeder Series, backed by the Mercedes Driver Academy as well. As he makes his way around in the Prema, very soon coming out to the final corner as well as he marches his way down the next straight. What's it going to be for Andrea Kimi Antonelli as he runs down towards San Donato? The Italian is going to look to usurp that of Santiago Ramos, and he certainly will, with a wonderful 1:43.650. stellar lap there from Antonelli. And certainly gives him a solid base now with 6 minutes to go. The Italian will continue to go to work, I'd imagine. Plenty more in the locker. Of course, the provisional pole from yesterday, the actual pole position time was a 1:42.305 set from Stenshorn. So as I alluded to, there's plenty more to find. Antonelli, I'm sure, will be looking to go to work, but naturally the track in a vastly different circumstance right now. This might actually favour Group A this time around as well, as we now see more cars come up towards the line as well. That's Lawrence Van Hoopen, who sits at 1:44. Marcus Ammann jumps up to 6th fastest. Havercourt now strengthens his hand as well with a 1:43.681 in second place. 31 thousandths off. Owen Tangavellu goes to the top now with a 1:43.390. Fantastic time from him. Nikhil Bora, the times are coming in. Santiago Ramos, second fastest, with a 1:43.4 as well. Maschio sets a 1:44.346. That's better from Maschio. Finds a little bit more time. And he's getting better and better as the weekend goes on. As I alluded to, did not necessarily get the practice he would have wanted. As Antonelli once again looks to go faster still. Not quite on the same pace as he was earlier, but getting himself teed up, though. I will say this, 2.5 tenths faster in that third sector as well as he heads out of the final corner at Bucine. He'll then tee up a final run using all the curb on the right-hand side. They do certainly work wonders when it comes to track management, as now Antonelli, the Italian, once again will try and tickle the top. He does, well, a 1:43.086. The time still coming down, and with 4 minutes and 20, it'll be interesting to see where this fastest time in Group B sits in comparison to Stenshorn. Of course, we qualified yesterday at 8:30 local time yesterday morning as well, the same as today. And Antonelli, who will obviously try and marshal himself a pole position place. It's going to be that much harder for him, though, because obviously given the conditions, it will give Group A a great chance, but front row will certainly give him plenty of benefits. But coming off the back of getting his first win last week, only 5 days ago, and managing to come away with yet another podium, as well as he looks to try and challenge up at the sharp end, 5 to his name, as well as taking 2 fastest laps in his, well, certainly his push this season, and 1 pole position to boot as well. Wonderful talent, and will only continue to develop as time goes on, you would imagine, certainly with the backing that he has at his disposal. The Van Amersfoort cars also in and amongst it, looking to call upon their man, of course, Kaz Havercourt here in this session. They still have 2 more cars to run in Group A's session, as well as more cars come across. That, of course, being that of Santiago Ramos, currently 3rd fastest in this classification. So Ramos now makes his way through this next right. Of course, fastest of his group as well, back at Spa as well. He's got Maschio right on his tail, who's going to hopefully, in his eyes, benefit from perhaps a little bit of a tow as well. So smart thinking there from the man at Monolight Racing. We're looking for an upturn in their fortunes after Kirill Small unfortunately came unstuck in yesterday's race. And, but the car not damaged as such. They were, in the context of things, obviously it's never nice to crash out, but Monolight, I think, were counting their blessings in many ways, at the fact that the car wasn't in a bad way as such. Certainly have worse scenarios over a weekend as Kaz Havercourt dips down into another right-hander. The Van Amersfoort car now looking to try and obtain yet another podium place. Of course, maybe even challenge for pole. We know Kaz Havercourt is tenacious. He is a sensation, a race winner this season as well. Took the 2nd race win at Imola. And again, this is why I allude to these tracks, and certainly the Italian circuits have certainly helped Van Amersfoort. They tend to favour the more technical circuits as well. Of course, very proficient when it came round to Hungaroring last season, where Kaz Havercourt would be a race winner. Now crossing the line, Havercourt now going fastest with a 1:43.004. Owen Tangavellu, though, not far behind as he comes down through towards San Donato. What's it going to be for the Trident? Can he lift himself higher? 43.244, not quite seeing the 142s we saw yesterday. Nikhil Bora goes ahead of his teammate. Ramos trumps them both, though, into 3rd fastest. Still, though, Antonelli in 2nd, and he is marshalling an improvement as well. The 2nd sector, just below a 1/10 of a second. He is looking vibrant out there, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, as he looks to, once again, dip into the 142s. Can he do it on this occasion. Let's find out together as he now makes his way around the next left-hander out of Bucin. He's going to head out now of turn 15, down this next long straight. The Italian now, who's going to look to try and marshal in yet another fastest time in his group. Can Andrea Kimi Antonelli pull this off? Jump ahead of Kaz Havercourt as he comes towards the line. He does, a 1:42.708. Blistering lap, just under 0.3 of a second faster than Kaz Havercourt as well. And will that last towards the end with 35 seconds to go now, folks, as we see the cars now come through this next straight. There's Kaz Havercourt. Once again, he's improving in that second split too. 18 thousandths improvement on that of Andrea Kimi Antonelli, but losing a little bit of time in split 3. But it's all about that crucial final corner at Bucin. Can he tee up a last gasp move down the straight? Can he try and galvanise some momentum to take him up to the start-finish line? He might yet have time for one more lap. Let's wait and see. 9 seconds ticks down to 8, 7, 6, and now with 5 to go, heads up towards the line. What's it going to be for Kaz Havercourt as he does so right on the bubble as well? Does he improve? Not quite enough. 1:42.834. The checkered flag comes out. Antonelli improving yet again in sector 1 and sector 2. 51 thousandths in split 1, 68 thousandths in split 2 as well. He's got split 3 to come. Antonelli really going for it here. He knows exactly what's at stake. He knows that Stenshorn will have the improvement with the track temperature later on as well. He's going to try and marshal in one final last gasp blow to that of the Group A contenders, as now the Prema tries to lock an advantage in. He is improving in that third split as well, so the Prema looking to go for the top spot. He knows how much pole is vital here. We heard about the dirty air. I spoke to Tim Tramnitz in the paddock. He said if you lead from the race get-go, it does give you a great foundation for a potential race win. In comes Andrea Kimi Antonelli now, up towards the line in the Prema with the checkered flags waving. He's going to put in one last gasp fight and does so. A 1:42.650. An improvement again from Andrea Kimi Antonelli and solidifies his position at the top of his group. A fantastic display from the young Italian. Still not quite as fast as Martino Stenshorn yesterday, who set a 1:42.305, but that's not a bad place to start. A 1:42.650 places him nearly 0.2 of a second faster than Kaz Havercourt, who's in second. Santiago Ramos, another solid qualifying performance. Owen Tangavelu and Trident, I think, will be pleased to a degree with the result of 4th here in this session, giving it everything. Nikhil Bora joining him as well, with Lorenzo Flusha in 6th place. Michael Belov as well. But with the checkered flag out, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, another stellar showing here in qualifying. It's one thing to take pole, but still you've got to give him credit for topping his own group yet again, twice in a row this weekend. And you'll look to carry that momentum. Whatever happens, he will be on the front row of the grid. And we'll shortly see them come in as well. We do obviously have a steward's note as well heading into Group A as well, folks. Obviously after the collision from yesterday, Enzo Scianti unfortunately being slapped with a 2-place grid penalty. He'll be coming in at Group A. So after this group have come into the pits and into parc fermé conditions, where they'll have to park up the cars and allow the next group to go out. Here are the results from Group B. This, of course, Andrea Kimi Antonelli on top with a 1:42.650 for Prema. Kaz Havercourt, another great showing in 2nd place. Santiago Ramos as well in 3rd, with Owen Tangavelu in 4th. Nikhil Bora, Lorenzo Flusha in behind those as well. Belov, Van Hoopen, Amand, Ravesh lining up in 10th as well. Fittipaldi in 11th, with Maschio in 12th. We've got Lucas Medina in 13th, and Alessandro Giusti not able to lay down a qualifying time. Of course, Giusti managed to achieve a 2nd place finish in yesterday. Well, he was challenging Maya Verk yesterday in the rookie classification in race 1, sorry. Of course, lining up for race 2, you'll have a harder task at hand here, given the fact that he's at the back of his group, and naturally that will mean that he's going to have to fight his way from the back to the front. But now we wait on as we now get set for Group A's cars, of course being led by Martino Stenshorn as well, who comes into this. But Andrea Kimi Antonelli, a blissful display from a rapid Italian. What a sensation he truly is, and we're looking forward to seeing yet again another scrap, once again with him at the forefront. The question is, will it be Stenshorn who joins him? Of course, this track does have quite a record where it comes to drivers that tend to go ahead and take consecutive poles and consecutive race wins, going back to 2019. In the early days of the Formula Regional European Championship, we of course had the likes of Frederick Vesti, David Schumacher as well at the very front. Of course, Schumacher would go pole in race 3 and then would of course clamber back with the race win. Arthur Leclerc doing exactly the same as well back in 2020 and doing it on 2 occasions, going from pole to win. Only missed out on 1 race, and that was because Oliver Rasmussen would go on to take the top result. Paul Aaron, of course, doing it back in 2021 as well, going from pole to victory on 2 consecutive occasions, and did exactly the same in 2022 in race 1 as well. But credit to these drivers as well. Santiago Ramos, I think, will be very positive after that result, as well as Cas Havercourt, who we just saw in picture. And as I said yesterday as well, only 1 Italian since 2019 taking a victory here at Mugello in the Formula Regional European Championship, and that was Gabriele Mini. And Andrea Kimi Antonelli be the man to raise an Italian flag on the top step of the podium since then. Let's wait and see as the cars now head out for yet another run. This will be Group A's cars that went out first, being led by Charlie Wirtz as well, recovered from his illness that prevented him from racing last weekend. And he's going to head now and lead the cars out once again as well. In behind, Roman Belinsky. There's Joshua Dirksen, who had his own issues to contend with as well. Kirill Smol, unfortunately, didn't see him. I had a word with the Monolite team, spoke to Mattia, who looks after the team affairs at Monolite, and he said to me afterwards they didn't actually have any issue with Kirill Smol afterwards. It was a racing incident of sorts because he just could not see Dirksen on his outside, came across the racing line, and unfortunately it was too late before he could correct anything, and unfortunately he paid the price. Joshua Dirksen, of course, able to continue in his car and made it to the checkered flag. But the same couldn't be said for Kirill Smol, who is returning here though. No damage to the car, as I alluded to, and he's going to try and elevate himself higher up the order as well. But plenty of cars now they're going to look to try and achieve hopefully a respectable qualifying session time. But with 13 minutes and 30 seconds to go, and there's Roman Belinsky, there's Dirksen. Of course, Joshua Dirksen, a tenacious character as well. Grand battler out on a track. I'm sure he'll be back again fighting it out after a successful run last weekend. There, of course, is the man that has certainly graced the top end on many an occasion already. A stellar showing for Martinius Stenshorn, who went on to win yesterday's race 1. And the first Norwegian to do that as well since 2019 too. And he'll look to try and make it 2 as well. And you wouldn't put it past him based on the displays we have seen from Martinius Stenshorn. RSGP certainly come here in great form, leading the championship coming into this weekend as well, with Prema Racing locked in behind. Of course, Martinius Stenshorn, after the win yesterday, boosts his points accolade up to 139. Remember, coming into the weekend on 114, tightens his grip on the championship for now. Of course, Antonelli not far behind, 127. The championship still very much up for grabs. Long way to go, folks. We're only at the halfway point of the season, and we have a very exciting round coming up at Le Castellet as well very soon, so sit tight. Paul Ricard coming up in a matter of a week or so, so do not go away, whatever you do. This championship fight is certainly going to go along deeper and longer. Could yet be a massive climax when we hit Hockenheim Ring for the first time this season as well in Germany. Of course, replacing the Monaco venue on the calendar from last season as well. And could say an appropriate final round on this year's calendar. First visit and a final round visit as well. There's Maya Verk, who has been sensational as well this season too. In recent weekends has obviously proven that she deserves to be right at the very top. Of course, part of the Ferrari Driver Academy, who place a lot of faith in this fantastic talent, and she certainly does show that she's no slouch behind the wheel. Could not defend against the Prema cars that were certainly on the attack yesterday. That, of course, being Rafael Camara, and that, of course, of Lorenzo Flusha as well. But she gave a great account of herself, and in recent weekends has been absolutely stellar behind the wheel. And And who knows what she could achieve now as her career starts to blossom from the Formula Regional European Championship. Of course, setting a precedence for many great talents and top drivers. Of course, we're seeing the likes of Gabriele Bortoleto doing great things in Formula 3 at the moment as well, and many others that have taken the step up. Leonardo Fornaroli as well, who is obviously being a sensation too as the first times come across. Josh Dirksen setting a 155. Kirill Small going to the top as well. Enzo Scianti as well. Obviously we know that they're just trying to get the tyres up to temp in the initial, and then eventually we'll see the times cascade downwards. There, of course, is the RPM car as well, representing this weekend. Of course, that being Matteo Capietto as well as Kirill Small. Very much part of the driving force behind the Monolite team. Place a lot of faith in this young man who is such an ambitious talent. Has a family that coordinate their business around flowers as well. They sell flowers, and Kirill Small very actively behind the business too. And such a character behind the wheel as well. And a pacey young man too, as Maya Verk goes to the top with a 155 flat. 41 thousandths faster than Enzo Scianti. As I said, that time will come cascading down here. 9 minutes and 40 to go. Still plenty of time for these drivers to marshal in some greater lap times. Stenshorn now 10th fastest too. Remember, of course, we've got the rookie classification up for grabs too, which Stenshorn went and took the rookie race win in yesterday's battle, and was able to lift both the overall and the rookie classification up once again. Has done that quite a few occasions now this season. Of course, every time taking a race win overall, also laying claim to the rookie race win too. Could imagine that trophy cabinet getting just a tiny bit full. Might have to invest into some bigger furniture, it has to be said, as we're now seeing Rafael Camara make his way through the next right now. Already now we're seeing the times come cascading down, and Prema are going to look to follow suit after a stellar showing from certainly the Italian Andrea Kimi Antonelli, going top of his group on home soil, as Charlie Wirtz now goes to the top with a 154.366. Roman Belinsky up to 8th fastest as well, but still getting those tyres to a reasonable temperature. Maya Verk improving quite emphatically as well in sectors 1 and 2. Just look at this, Rafael Camara really trying to lay down a foundation here as we see him on screen. 2.2 up in split 3. So it could be as fast as a 152 here at this point. I'd imagine we'll touch into the 150s, no doubt, as he now makes his way out to the Bucine corner, heads out of the hairpin at turn 15, and now heads down towards the line. Where's the Prema going to be this time now as it goes to the top? Surely, yes, a 151.256 is the early 50s as we expected. Plenty more to come across though, as Maya Verk goes into second fastest. And Charlie Wirtz in behind as well. There's Martinius Stenshorn, the Norwegian sensation, who touched the top end, graced his presence on the top step of the podium yesterday, and will once again come across the line going second fastest. Not enough to beat Camara. Here comes Tim Tramnitz, Stenshorn's teammate, who came third yesterday. 4th fastest there for Tramnitz. 152.272 to his name. Matthias Zagazzetta going 5th fastest as well. So a very well-armed RHGP representation here in Group A. All 3 cars representing here in this session as well. As you know, see them make their way around once again. As we see Charlie Wirtz, who's at the top. Well, certainly trying to make his way to the top. Here he is coming across the line now. He has improved almightily in the final sector, and he does go to the top with a stellar 143.971. The time's coming in thick and fast. I can tell you this now, Charlie Wirtz won't be alone. Belinsky goes to the top, fastest man on track, 143.870. Tom Leben, he's also looking for improvements. Niels Kuhlen for Van Amersfoort. Matteo Capietto goes to the top with a 143.209. Kirill Small, second fastest as well. Josh Dubek, second fastest for Van Amersfoort too. Enzo Scianti, 8th fastest now as well, with Konsta Lapalainen coming in for his father's team at Kick Motorsport, 9th fastest going to him too. But I've got my eyes peeled here. Roman Belinsky finding 83 thousandths on the top time already. Here comes Rafael Camara. Spoke to him as well briefly yesterday. He's hoping for a bigger day today, and I'm sure he'll try and deliver that. Second fastest there for the Prema. 143.245 for Rafael Camara. Maya Verk now going 6th fastest, 143.915. Track temperature certainly is starting to march upwards, 25.6 now. They look to try and harness all of this as well, and certainly with 6 minutes still to go, we've yet to see the best of it. Josh Dufek finding an almighty amount of time. Matteo Cappietto also finding nearly 3/10 on his previous lap as well in split 2. Kamara also going fastest as well. Just look out for Belinsky. He's also looking to improve too, as Tramnitz comes third fastest, 43.388. Zagazeta 10th fastest. Still plenty more to be found on this track. Belinsky now showing yet more pace in split 3. Kamara, though, finding an almighty near enough 3.5/10. Cappietto doing exactly the same in the final sector as well, as you see the cars round the next left. Of course, at the very helm of this group, Tom Leben leads them down through towards the line. There's Levente Ravesh as well, who had a tricky day yesterday, coming across the line once again. Dirksen, Belinsky goes to the top with a 1:42.949. Now that instantly goes certainly considerably faster than what we saw at this point in the previous session as well. Cappietto now jumps in for first place as well at 42.864. Kulin now down to 6th because Kirill Small goes into 5th fastest, but briefly usurped by Josh Dufek as well, 3rd fastest. 1:42.955 for Dufek. Matteo Cappietto holding all the cards up at the top right now, but still not quite enough to break away from Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Very, very strong showing so far from the RPM team, who are once again looking for that little bit more. As Rafael Kamara, 1:42.939. Can Antonelli yet achieve a pole position? Who knows? 4 minutes and 25 to go, as we now see the cars make their way towards the line. This is Martinius Stenshorn yet again, as he heads up. Definitely looks like he could be on an improvement. A 43.098 does go 5th fastest. Not quite the top time we've come to expect from him. Tim Tramnitz 2nd fastest still, 1:42.927. Cappietto still at the top though, and looking in vibrant form. Zagazeta there in 7th. But stellar showing indeed. Tramnitz once again looking to try and marshal his place up at the front end as well. We're seeing more time certainly coming into play, though plenty of the drivers now starting to cool down the tyres. And already showing slow laps at this point in the lap as well. Naturally, with the traffic out there as well, it's going to be certainly tough for all drivers to marshal an improvement here at this very point, but certainly they'll leave the best for last here with 3 minutes and 30 to go. So Cappietto at the top with a stellar 42.864. Distinct positives here. The provisional pole lap right now, of course, being that of Andrea Kimi Antonelli of 1:42.650. Just a couple of tenths off is Cappietto at this point as well, as he now comes across the line. So no doubt it's all down to this now as we head into the final echelons of this qualifying session. There's Belinsky. Great showing from him so far as well. Really trying to get every ounce out of this car this weekend, and has certainly gone and shown what he is capable of. Very intelligent human being behind the wheel as well. Let's talk to him about the wider complexities. Just gracing his presence with the gravel trap briefly. Only just barely though, managed to keep out of it. And Trident have such a stellar... Oh, dipping into the gravel trap there, Roman Belinsky. Just losing the rear slightly. You can see he's pushing. Such an evident display there of him trying to garner every little bit he can. I can tell you that split 1, Cappietto has actually found yet greater improvement. Just look at the tail whip there from Belinsky, but a grand recovery from the young man. And certainly is trying to deliver everything for his team. Of course, it's a weekend of celebration in many ways for the Trident team. They've really put in a lot of hard work in their feeder series drive. Of course, they've done so in Formula 3. Of course, Fornaroli was fastest in qualifying in Silverstone. Can Belinsky bring them to the front end as well? Let's wait and see. The time still flicking downwards. Kamara has found more time in the first sector. Cappietto also 1,000th up in sector 3 as well, but 44 thousandths gained here for Kamara means that he's the fastest man on track right now. Cappietto heading through this next left, and once again Kamara finding more time. The Prema starting to go to work. It could be a Prema lockout if it continues like this, but as they head up towards the line with 1 minute and 20 still to go, Cappietto will come across the line as we reach the closing stages of 42.865. But I got my beady eyes on Rafael Kamara right now. 98 thousandths improvement in sector 2. And now making his way through towards the next right in Sector 3. He has, of course, got plenty to go, of course, through this very tight and twisty part of the circuit. He's got to head through turns 10 and 11, and very soon head out to the hairpin bend at turn 15 after coming through the very, very tight Biondetti 1 and 2. Comes through Bussi now. He's got a long straight to take. He's going to get a nice run, heading out to the final corner, and he's gone a massive, near enough 2 tenths faster, just over 1.5 tenths, is now towards the line he comes. Rafael Camara to the top, a 1:42.667, barely away from Andrea Kimi Antonelli's 1:42.650. Here comes Stenshorn. He comes across the line as well. He goes second fastest, Martinius Stenshorn. It could be yet again more gracious displays here from the opening group in qualifying, but it's Camara on top. It's a Prema lockout for now, unless we see the drivers do something vastly different here in the closing seconds. We have got literally 13 seconds to go. There's Tramnitz, who's currently 5th fastest. He's going to need to put in a stellar showing towards the end of this run as well. Of course, lots to do here, and you can just see him there aggressively working with the car, trying to find every apex possible, every little bit of pace he can extract out of this very circuit here in Mugello. The checkered flag now out here in qualifying. Capietto, 35 thousandths up in the first sector, but he's lost time in Sector 2 and Sector 3. Stenshorn right on the cusp as well. He's trying to drive his car forward. There's Belinsky, who's coming up towards the line as well. He's going to look to try and marshal somewhat of an improvement in that final sector. Can't quite achieve it, though. More times coming across as well as the RPM comes through. Kulin, 10th fastest as well. More cars coming through as well. There is, of course, I believe the Monolight further back as well, as they come across the line. Kick Motorsport car as well of Lapalainen, still 14th fastest, but I can tell you that Stenshorn is trying his best to break in, because still chasing that P1, that pole qualifying lap that he would love to have to make it 2 poles across the weekend and give him the best chance of taking a victory. He's certainly doing just that. He needs to try and marshal something big down the Bussin corner, 77 thousandths outside of where he needs to be, but still trying his best to bring himself to within where Camara has set his pace. Maya Ver coming across the line as well. She finishes 7th fastest, second of the rookie classification in this group as well, as Stenshorn comes across the line of 42.728, not enough to topple Rafael Camara. Unfortunately, he will be second in Group A here in qualifying 2, and Camara will certainly at this point be the fastest man in his group, but not enough to beat off Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Oh, dearie me. Car going off there, wide off the track as well. Not ideal. Just staggered out in the gravel. That has been a danger point this weekend. We saw Roman Belinsky just dripping into it ever so slightly. It's a very fast-paced circuit here at Mugello. But here are the results here after qualifying to Group A. Rafael Camara is the fastest man out in this group, but he won't take pole position. Martinius Stenshorn in 2nd, Maceo Capietto in 3rd, Joshua Dufek in 4th, Tim Tramnitz in 5th, Roman Belinsky in 6th, Maya Verk in 7th, with Matthias Sagazeta in 8th, Kirill Smal in 9th, with Niels Kulin in 10th. 11th place went to Joshua Dirksen, Charlie Wirtz in 12th, Tom Leben in 13th, with Konsta Lapalainen in 14th, with Enzo Scianti in 15th place. So there we have it. Your pole sitter for now will definitely be Andrea Kimi Antonelli. His group will line up behind him from pole downwards, of course, on his side of the grid. And on the other side, it will be Rafael Camara. A Prema lockout for this afternoon's race. And it's going to be an exciting one as well. Race 2, join us at 4:25 local time this afternoon, folks. It's been a pleasure bringing you to this session. I'll join us, shall I say, later on for the race.